Oh man, what's up, everybody? Welcome to our Tuesday night edition of the Walking This Way's Impact Voice podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Furman Jackson Jr. We're broadcasting out of the DFW Dallas Fort Worth metropolitan area. I ask you, everybody. I normally have my background up, but for some reason, technical difficulty will not let me unload my background. But it's all good. We know the show still goes on, of course. And once again, I'm with my lovely sister, who I've been knowing since '09, and we reconnected after all these years. Of course, it's Nancy out of Miami. Nancy, what's going on? How are you doing this evening?
Good. Excited to be here.
Well, thank you. I know you're a very, very productive woman. I reached out to you and asked if you want to come on. You said sure. And of course, we're always here as well. Also, I thank you again. I'm very excited, Nancy, because tonight I have a very childhood fetish of mine, and that's pro wrestling. I still watch pro wrestling to this day. And I came across this individual's platform on Instagram. Like, I love pro wrestling. She does pro wrestling. Reached out to her. She replied to me back. We set it up, and she's here tonight. And you're technically out of San Antonio, Texas, correct? And she
Correct.
go by Mystii Marks. She's a pro wrestler out of Texas. She's a women's champion. Everywhere you been, you come with a lot of great things. Winning, rocking the championships. Right behind you, of course. And like I said, Nancy, she's gonna take the insight on her career, how she got started, what her goals is, what inspired her to get into the world of pro wrestling. Like I said, I love wrestling. And Misty, I thank you once again for coming on the show, talk about who you are, talk about your career, the excitement, the behind the scenes. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. We are live streaming on Facebook Live, Instagram. We're live streaming on LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitch. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, I am the majestic one, Mystii Marks.
And I also, and like I said, I love wrestling, and I still watch it to this day. And I respect the business. I respect the business, the work y'all put into it, the storylines, just to sell to the audience. And matter of fact, the audience look up to pro wrestlers with their y'all larger than life figures, of course, and y'all put in a lot of work. So go ahead. How did you get off into pro wrestling? Of all that you could have did, why choose pro wrestling?
So I first got introduced to wrestling when I was about 5 or 6. My mom used to watch it a lot, and I was very curious about it. So she would watch it, and I would just sit in front of the TV, and every time somebody would take a hit or a bump, she would say, "Bam," and she would scare the crap out of me every time. So that's how I kind of got introduced to it. As time went on, my mom stopped watching it, but I continued to watch it. Like you said, for the storylines, like, the iconic moments that they had in the grocery store and off the top of a steel cage, like those moments kept me vested. So as years went on, I still watched it. And then for my 27th birthday, I believe, my friend of mine at the time, he was like, "Why don't you try wrestling?" Oh, you can't try wrestling. Huh?
Sorry.
Background.
I was like, why don't you try wrestling? And I was like, you can't try wrestling. Like, people have to pick you for that. This is what I thought. And so once he said that, it kind of got in my mind, like, let me do some research. So I did some research. I found that Booker T was having a camp. So I think my birthday was on a Friday. So he was having a camp on Sunday. So I bought my ticket. I drove to Texas City, and I was there. And so it was like, oh my God, this is Booker T. And then he had a special guest there at the time. And just to see these people, like, I didn't know Indies wrestling existed. In my mind, it was only WWE, WCW. Like, that was it. Like, there was nothing else. So to go to this arena and see this ring and find out that there's other wrestling outside of WWE was like, what? So we did a little training, they showed us how to lock up, stuff like that. And then they was like, who want to take a bump? That was me. I raised my hand. First one. Me, I want to take a bump. So Ryan Davidson, who is a great, great person, he gave me my very first bump. And I can remember taking that bump, and I was like, oh my God, that was fun. Like I said, that was fun. And so from then on, like, I did my research. I went and found out more about the school. And then the rest is history.
And that's what's up. And like I said, it's a lot of work. And we see, because like I said, back in the day, it was like I said, WWE was back then was WWF. You had WCW, then ECW came up in the 90s. So you had those promotions going on, and then we know way back then we know it was territories, because down here in Dallas, you had World Class with the Von Erichs, of course, and you had many other territories. So Vince bought out all the territories, of course. Everybody went to New York to WWE, WWF. So, but we know we still had the independence going on. But that was the main goal for a lot of men or women who were starting out. Their goal was to make it to the big time. So is that your goal, to make it to the big time? Because we know you have WWE, we have NXT, and now we have AEW. So is that your main goals, to make it to one of those major corporations?
I'm not gonna say that's my main goal. My main goal is to be a household name. Like, and I feel like I can do that on any platform. It doesn't have to be with WWE. I can literally make my way through the indies and become a household name, like the Tessa Blanchards. She's a household name as far as wrestling. So I wouldn't say that's my main goal, but if I make it there, hey, I did what I was supposed to do.
And that was so what has been the most challenging training to be a pro wrestler?
The most challenging is like your body. Like, your body takes a lot when it comes to wrestling, and to just keep your body up with different types of supplements and dipping herbs for back pain, knee pain. Like that is the most challenging part. Just keeping up with your body and listening to your body and say, hey, sit down. You ain't gotta go to training today. You just need to take a break. And I'm hard headed with that. Sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't.
Hey, but being slammed, I can imagine just being slammed all the time on that mat, and I can imagine that mat hurt, right? Because I can imagine it hurt, the
Come on
rope
now.
hurt. Because
Yes.
like I said, one of my dear friends back at home, he tried out for pro wrestling, and he told me like the rope, the mat ain't no joke. And like I said, for people who think it's that's fake and everything else, nah, they actually put their bodies on the line, and the injuries are real. Like
Oh,
I said,
really?
you go in the ring good, but you never know how you gonna come out at the end.
Right. Absolutely.
So we know injuries are part of pro wrestling. You can't prevent it.
Mhm.
We know they are part of it. But training, who right now, who was your main trainer? I know you mentioned Booker T when you got introduced, whatever. So who is training you now, or who do you consider a mentor to you in the business?
Like I said, I started off with Booker T in his facility up in Texas City. I am currently training with Jazz and Rodney Mack in San Antonio. And
Okay.
right, Jazz is my mentor. Like anytime I need guidance or I have a question, Coach, look, this was happening. Like, what should I do? So, like, she's my go-to right now.
And matter of fact, I'm familiar with her because she was part of ECW
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, and she went to WWE, and her husband also came to WWE as well. So they are familiar with them also as well. And I looked at some of your background. So before you became an in-ring competitor, you was also a referee, correct?
Correct. That's
So
how I
how you
started.
make that transition from referee to being an active competitor?
Hard work. Like when I was at Booker T's, I was one of the ones I was like, all right, when I'm gonna have my match, when I'm gonna have my match. Like I had gear and boots made before my match was even announced. So when because honestly at first when I first started, I wanted to ref. Like I wanted, no, I'm lying, not ref, but I wanted to be a manager. I wanted
Okay.
to manage. I wanted to be the cute one that come out and grab the mic and talk and all that. But then after I took my first bump with Ryan Davidson, like that changed everything. I was like, what? Forget managing. I wanna be in the ring. Like that's what I want to do. I want to be in the ring. So I started off as a ref at Reality of Wrestling, and I refed. I don't know, maybe like a year, 6 months, something like that. And so when my 2 years was up at Row, I moved to San Antonio and I started training with Jazz. And within 1 month, she was like, I'm gonna put you in the ring. And I was like, I said, I've been here 1 month. You want to put me in the ring? So August 1st, 2021 was my very first match. And it wasn't like your normal, like, hey, it is planned, it is on the schedule. It was an impromptu thing. Like I'm driving to Jazz's house on a Sunday. We about to play some cards, drink some wine, relax. She calls me halfway to her house and she's like, hey, you wanna have a match today? Yeah. She's like, all right, go home, get your gear, meet me at this location. And that's how I had my first match. So the transition was like quick. There was no like in between. There was really no preparation for it. It was just like, Jazz was like, I see what you can do. You've been here a month. I got an opportunity for you to have a match. Here you go.
And so you just a quick responder, a quick thinker. You just caught on quick to the business. Like, okay, this kid got something. She's special. So they really been pushing you, up front, pushing you, pushing you, pushing
Mm-hmm.
you. Because at the end, like you said, it's all about making a name for yourself. And I know in the business, you have to make a name for yourself in order to make the money, in order to get the people to come out every week. How often are you wrestling?
Every weekend, I am wrestling every single weekend. Every now and then, it might be a weekend where I'm not booked. Maybe something happened with the show, or maybe something happened with the other competitor, or something to that extent. But other than that, every weekend I am in that ring.
Man, that's what's up. Nancy, you have anything you want to ask?
Who did you look up to like in wrestling?
So I looked up to Alicia Fox and
Okay.
Randy. Like some of my move sets, I got them from those two because I feel like they're two of the best to ever do it. So those are like my two favorite people in wrestling.
And also, I know you studied the psychology because I know Jake the Snake Roberts. He's big on psychology when it comes to wrestling. He's one on. We know Dusty Rhodes, we know Cody, and all of them are
Mhm.
big on the psychology of the business. We know that helps, sell, of course, and also get more people into it. So, how often do you study the psychology of it? Because I know you say you study on Alicia Fox, and we know Randy Orton, ex better than he's still going strong at his age,
Right.
right now. So, you see, implemented that in your move set. So what else moves have you created? Why in the midst of why you've been in pro wrestling?
I wouldn't say I created anything. I'm trying my best to think outside the box and outside the
Gotcha.
norm. But I haven't. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't came up with nothing. But I do find myself looking at, like you said, world class, looking at some of those matches, which is Rodney Mack is very big on. Look at world class, look at ECW. Like he's very big on us studying those type of matches. So there are
Hmm.
things I pull from them, and I'm like, okay, how can I make it Mystii Marks? Like, how can I turn that move and make it into a Mystii Marks move? With my sass in the ring and the way I talk. So if anything, I'll do that. But nothing I just been like, ooh, this my move. I made it up. Like it's never been done. No, not yet. Not yet.
Well, but it's getting there, and we know
It is.
storytelling. We know storytelling is part of wrestling. We see
Mm-hmm.
right now the bloodline. If those who not for my WWE fans like myself, we know the bloodline storyline is still going on. It's been going on for 4 years, and
Yes,
I'm glad
brilliant.
that Triple H has gone back to storytelling. That what Vince was doing, but Vince got way in his age and Vince's anyway. But but Triple H is a student in the game. Paul Heyman is a student in the game with the storyteller, long-term storytelling. 'Cause back in the day, when the Von Erichs and the Freebird had their rivalry, it was going on for some years. But that would get the people more involved and get them more
Mm-hmm.
tuned in. And then you're living your our lives through these figures. Like, wow, man, I could be that. Oh, wow, that's cool. And they come to save the day. So creative control. So you are have creative control of your character, right? So.
To a certain extent, like you go to some promotions and the promoter want a certain thing. And I was always told if they tell you to punch twice and slap once, you better punch twice and slap once. So it's like one of those things of, okay, we have a vision for you, Misty. We like who you are, but we want to tweak it to this storyline. So it just all depends on what's the vision of the promoter and whether they see things going.
Right.
Sometimes I would get asked like, "Hey, this is what I want. Like, this is the finish that I'm thinking of," and I'm like, "Okay, well, this is how we can get to it." And they're like, "Yes, that's what I want, just like that." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, no problem. I can make it happen."
Man, that's what's up. So, do you prefer to be a brawler, a mat technician, or you just all in between?
I feel like I'm a mixture of a brawler and a technician. I'm not a high flyer at all, but brawling and ass on the ground and wrestling, absolutely, I love that part.
Man, I love Bret Hart. He's a mat technician.
Oh my God, he's great.
Yeah, Bret Hart, Kurt
Yep.
Angle, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, all them guys, but mainly like the Bret Hart, the Shawn Michaels. They will tell stories, and then it
Hmm.
will lead up to the showdown. And like I said, Kurt Angle, matter of fact, when I remember when Kurt Angle first came out, I didn't expect Kurt Angle to be the beat that he was when he first came. He came, Olympic gold medalist, he was
Oh,
just,
freaking neck. Yeah.
yeah, but then he just took it to a whole nother level.
Hmm.
To that he's a Hall of Fame, but Kurt Angle, mat technician. Oh yeah, Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, Chris Benoit
Chris
from back in the
Benoit for
day.
sure. Him and Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, Eddie
Absolutely.
Guerrero, Eddie Guerrero back then. But them guys, they love it. And I know going overseas, especially in Japan,
Japan.
if you go watch some matches over in Japan, how the audience here be all into it, making noise. Over there in Japan, it's quiet.
Yep.
It is, Nancy. It's quiet. It's actually quiet. and you can actually hear the wrestlers. You hear the slamming, the hitting, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's how much they really
They
respect.
respect it.
They respect it compared to the States over there. I mean, they'll treat you like you. I mean, you're a celebrity here, but when you go over to China,
Mega,
you're a
yes,
megastar.
mega star. Absolutely. Yep.
So, would you ever consider going over to Japan? I mean,
Call me. I will go. I want to go. My
because that
coach,
was Sasha went. Because Sasha
yeah,
Banks, she went over there for a little
she
while
went.
too.
She won the title, and she came back and won another title. So I think Japan is a great place. I had two friends that went. Well, two wrestling friends that went. I think last year for like 3 months.
Mhm.
Came back, and you can tell there was a difference in their wrestling style and how they did things. So I think it's a great way to learn. I think any wrestler that had the opportunity should freaking go.
Yeah, that's it. Because like I said, it's all about big time, and like I said, it's just doing major work. Of course, like I said, I know you've been winning championships, so you're currently holding. How many belts you holding right now, Misty?
3. I am holding 3 titles right now. I currently have the West Texas Championship for Square Circle Pro. I have the Vixens Genesis Championship in Houston, Texas. And then I also have the Dog Pound Women's Texas Championship here in San Antonio. So I'm representing the school and I'm representing the promotion for my coach, Jazz and Rodney Mack.
Man, that's awesome. And like I said, I love what you're doing. I get excitement in your voice, what you're doing, and just the excitement of it as well. But what, like I said, the move sets, just the training.
Mm-hmm.
But what has been the most? I mean, just let the world know for those who don't understand. They think, oh, I can just get in there and do that. But from your experience, explain the difficulties of being a professional wrestler. People look at it on TV and say, oh, I could do that, I could do that. But
Man.
can you really
So,
do that? Go ahead.
so I've seen people that have come one day and has not returned because they thought the level of difficulty was not where it was supposed to be. But I'm telling you, wrestling is not for the weak-hearted. It's not for someone who's just want to come in and just play or come in and just have this for a workout. It's more than that. You have to think about protecting your other opponent, doing the move sets in that, doing them safely. Remember when what's coming next, what was before that. Remember to tell the story. Remember to add your character. Remember that your gear needs to match what you're trying to portray. It's so many aspects to wrestling. So if anyone wants to join, I think they can do it. Like you have to put that in mind. You have to protect yourself, and then you have to put your trust in another person that they will protect you. It's a
Right.
lot of trust that goes on inside of a wrestling ring. And a lot of people don't think about that part. They just think, oh, I can do that. Oh, I can do that. Yeah, you probably can do it one day, but can you do it for continuous years like Randy Orton has done, who's still active competing in the ring? I doubt it. I doubt
Yeah.
it.
And think about the injuries that Randy had. He just came
Yes.
back from a back injury. He was out for a whole year last year.
Mm-hmm. And these injuries are real. Like it's wrestling takes wear and tear on your body. Like I've been in the business for since 2019, and that's just in 2 years of that I was just training. So the last 3 years I've been in the business, I've had a concussion, I've had a sprained ankle, I've hurt my shoulder. There are just so many things that can happen. And guess what? If I re-injure those three things I just named, that could be the end of my career right there. But I love this business so much and I love wrestling. Like I'm going, as a wrestler would say, oh, I'm going to just walk it off. I'll be all right. Just give me some ice. I'll be all right tomorrow. Like that's our mindset. Like this is a business that we all love. Like I love this. I absolutely love this. I don't see myself slowing down. I don't.
And like I said, it's amazing. Like I said, I watch it and I love it and I enjoy it as well also. What I was gonna say, Nancy, have anything you want to ask?
Um, not that I know of at the moment.
Well, let me ask y'all a
All
question.
right, then.
Twist it
Go
up a
ahead.
little bit. Ooh, 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 ooh. Okay. At what age did you realize that wrestling was fake?
I never. You know what? I don't care what people say about it. To me, it's real
Mm-hmm.
because you get injuries are real.
Mm-hmm.
Anything can happen. Y'all bodies be sweaty. And you picking somebody up for a power bomb and they slip and fall on their head, that wasn't fate.
Yeah.
Or a power driver. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you like this: when did you realize that it was? Because I see it as choreographed entertainment. That's
Right.
what I. So when did you realize like the beef that they had was just them portraying a character, like an actor in a movie? When did you realize that part of wrestling?
Like I said, I was so into it. But I know
Mm-hmm.
they could, but it'd be some real life heat too in the backstage. I be watching them
It
shoot
do.
interviews
It
and
do.
it'd be some personal animosity there because they have you start hitting for real. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen that before. Even though, okay, it's choreographed and y'all already know the finish and the outcome, but it been some real life beef going on. I be watching them shoot interviews on YouTube. So is it reality or what? But I know be
Yeah.
some
Okay. So
real
you
life
just trying to
stuff going
figure
on.
out which part, like, okay, I'm gonna believe they beefing for real. So when I see they match, it'll like portray how much they don't like each other.
Right. It's just like the whole Matt Hardy Edge situation
Ooh,
when Edge was having an affair with Lita, and they even though that was a real life, they had some
that was
real life heat on
real.
that,
Yes,
but
that
they
was
implemented
real.
to a storyline, but they was hitting each other for real. But I know they made okay, it's all about the dollar making money, but that
Right.
was a real life situation. That's the same thing with the whole thing with Jeff Jarrett, Kringle, and his wife. That was some real stuff back, and they implemented the storyline, but it was real. See, Ashby having this real life heat going on.
I think
So
I
that
haven't watched
means
wrestling since Macho Man and Elizabeth and
That's all.
that's the good
Hulk
old storyline.
Hogan and
Yes. So
But
like so I was thinking, that's one thing like I think Vince did very well once he took over the territories. He used what people were going through in their real life.
he did.
It was like this can turn out to be the best match ever. And
Right.
he turned it into something, and we was like, dang, you just want to exploit these people for like their personal life. But if you think about it, it was probably a really good way for these people to get it off their chest
Mm-hmm.
in a legal way.
Right.
Because wrestling is legal. Just think about it. People getting their head bust open. You get to hit them with trash cans. Like, what? Come on, now.
But
That's genius.
just thinking about okay, with Stone Cold and Vince, remember the Stone Cold Vince McMahon on
Mm-hmm.
Robert. How
Mm-hmm.
many people always wanted to get at their boss and never get in trouble for it?
Come on now. That's real life. That's real. That's what I'm saying. That's real.
Because people relate to that, like, wow, I wish I could do that to my
To my
boss
boss.
and get away with it. Hit him with a Stone Cold Stunner, get him the bird and stuff, and just
What?
beat him up every week and still get away with it.
What? Man, gold. Like people, that's what I'm saying. Like with wrestling, people can relate to it. They can take a minute and they can tell the storyline. Like, dang, he really beat his boss ass. Like
Yeah.
I wish I could do that. Dang, he really sleeping with that man's wife. I'm sleeping with my friend wife too, but I ain't gonna say nothing. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
people can relate to that stuff. Wrestling is just an outlet to relate. Like a situation happens, you fight about it. It's either get resolved or it don't. The story can
Right.
always circle back around.
Right.
Always.
But I'm saying I'm glad that we seeing more storylines back in
Mm-hmm.
professional wrestling. Like we had the Drew McIntyre, CM Punk. That started ever since last year when CM Punk came back, and then ended in Hell in the Cell, of course. But look how long term it went on. Like I said, we still got the Bloodline storyline still going on with
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
The Rock came back this
Mhm.
past weekend, and that's still going on. But I'm glad that's back, Misty, now in professional wrestling. So you know how back then when they got at it, and then the screen went either faded to black. And you're like, oh man, I can't wait to next week. I can't wait to see
Next
what
week.
happened. So I'm
Right.
glad, like the Rock said, they making pro wrestling cool again. So
Yeah.
it's like, man, I can't wait to wait next week. What's gonna happen next week? And I'm glad they started to put more reality into it because they did an angle at Bad Blood where Kevin Owens attacked Cody in the parking lot.
Come on now.
But somebody did it through a cell phone, like they didn't know that was going on. So I'm glad Triple H is putting that back in wrestling again, putting that realness back into it. Well, that's sales. You know, that's why I said people can relate to that. They live through that. And I'm glad we're getting that back again in professional wrestling, just the storylines alone.
For me, when that happened, it brought back Catch Me Outside. I'm gonna catch you outside. Like you tried to, like we supposed to be boys. I'm gonna catch you outside, homie. Like man, like I love wrestling, and you're right. Like I feel like those storylines people can follow, and then dang, what I was about to say, I lost my train of thought. People that haven't watched wrestling in years are talking about it. They're watching it again. They're trying to understand, okay, why the hell is The Rock back? CM Punk back? What's that about? Like people are become more invested. It's been 10 years since CM Punk been with WWE.
Right.
And he's back for 2 years. And people are still following the story. So I love that for some people. Like, because I know as people get older, oh, I don't watch it no more. I found out it's fake. For me, I'm like, okay, if it's fake, let me punch you. And you tell me if it's fake or not. Like, you tell me if it's fake or not. And they's like, for real? I'm like, yeah, let me punch you. Let me body slam you. Because I get it all the time. If I tell someone I'm a wrestler, right? You a wrestler? I'm like, yeah, I'm a wrestler. Let me ask you a question. Is it fake? I was like, let me punch you. Let's find out. No, I'm just asking a question. I'm about to answer your question. Let me punch you and you tell me if it's fake or not. And then not one person has took me up on that offer. Not one.
You can't fake gravity.
Right?
I mean, you can't because, I mean, you got shoot wrestlers out there too. When I say the shoot wrestlers are the ones who hit you for real. They call it potato. That's a slang they use in wrestling, potato.
Yeah.
And cause you got some people who be hitting wild. Have you ever dealt with opponents who wild punch you like, hey, hold up, you just and they
This
still
was not part of the script.
I have like something was planned in the match. I won't say no names. And she chopped me, but she chopped me right on across my nose, like missed my whole chest, right across the nose. I said, okay, you missed. In the middle of the match, you missed. She put me back. I'm like, all right, get another one. Across my nose again. In this business, it's called a receipt. And you're not supposed to do receipts. And I don't do receipts. I just know I hit her back. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say.
So, Misty, I know when you work with opponents and y'all have it been some that you ain't got to put no name out there. Have it been some that y'all refused to work with after one time? Like, hey, I don't want to work with this person no more.
Nope, never had that issue. Not from my end. I've always been open into working with anybody and everybody because I feel like that's how I'm going to grow and learn from the top of the card to the bottom. I feel like that's how I can become a better wrestler. I don't have issues with anybody in the business.
And that's what's up.
I will wrestle every single girl I've wrestled already. I will wrestle them again, every single one.
That's it. So, as a wrestler, are you a face are you a heel or are you a baby face?
Depends. It can easily change when I show up to a facility. I can get a message. Okay, we want you to wrestle Jane Doe, and you're gonna be heel. Okay, cool. Jane Doe heel. Bet. I'll probably go look up Jane Doe, see what she's about. I like to research my opponents. Look up Jane Doe, see what she was about, how she wrestles. Okay, cool. Probably come up with a couple of spots in my head. Bet we got our match. I might get there. Oh, Jane Doe couldn't make it. Now you got to wrestle Janie Doe and you're a baby face. Okay. So it happens like that, which is why they always put that little thing at the bottom. Card subject to change. Because this world is crazy and stuff always changing around us. So I might want one thing one day, but when I show up, it might be something completely different.
But you know what, Mystic? It's some people that take wrestling way too far. I'm talking about fan-wise. Like, you could be a heel, but they'll take it so seriously that they'll try to hurt you, literally try to hurt you. Because back in the day, Ric Flair said back in the day, when he lived in the neighborhood, people would actually throw trash in his front yard because he was a heel.
Wow. You know what that tells me? He did his fucking job the way he was supposed to do it. If you can get someone to hate you at that level, you're doing your fucking job. It sucks, but you did your job. And Ric Flair is a great fucking heel. Sorry.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying. Because I said people I love. I ain't gonna take it that far now. Where I want to literally hurt you. You getting spit on. Cause I think Kurt Angle when he was like that, fans were throwing stuff at him in the parking lot. They would spit on him. Like Nancy, these people would take this thing seriously, even though it's just TV, but it's a show. But they would actually take that seriously. Like, it ain't that serious, not to hurt nobody.
I agree. But fans are crazy. Yeah, there's this. He's not even my fan. He's one of my opponent's fans, and he just feels the need to always message me about her. And I'm like, okay, I get it. You love her. He'll send me a part of our match. You can't do this to her. And I'm like, sir, it ain't that serious. Okay, you gonna pay your ticket? You gonna still watch her wrestle? Perfect, do that. But stop harassing me.
Wow.
Leave me alone.
Wow. And we know in the business, when it comes to the women counterparts in wrestling, women have been showcased as being sex symbols. They want you to wear the bikini, the thong. You know, we said it back in the 90s. But now, being more treated as an athlete, has there been pushed more on the independent scene that being pushed out more as athletes, better just more than just, well, put you in some tights, prance around, but actually respect your athletic ability?
I believe so. I know for me, I'm not really a showy type of girl, especially with my gear. So, as I've gotten more developed, I'm like, okay, it's okay to make my, my shorts a little bit shorter. It's okay to wear tights or whatever, because I know they're looking at what I can do in the ring. Yeah, I come out, I'm pretty, I look good, my hair's done, makeup look good. But once I'm in the ring, I can hear the fans saying, damn, do she owe you money? What did you do to her? Like, because they know I hit hard and they can feel it from me. Attitude, the way I carry myself. So I believe, like, as wrestling has matured over the last 20 years, women are seen more as like an athlete, a brawler, and not just, sex symbols. Even though we are sexy, it's just an added bonus now. The sexy is an added bonus, not the wrestling.
Yeah, because I said we know that what they would showcase more the sexiness of women, and I focus more on your athletic ability. But now y'all have a longer matches now compared to being that. Yeah, y'all main eventing now. And also, cause back then they only give with women like what 5, 10, 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, if that.
If that. But now y'all getting longer now. It's okay. These women are athletic. They take the business seriously, and they really want to showcase this. Again, like I said, main event. Because we know that Sasha and Bianca was the first African American ladies to main event a WrestleMania some years back. They made history on that. It's a big thing going on, and I know you've been seeing it, where people feel like the black wrestlers are not being showcased on WWE. And they've been targeting Triple H. Oh, Triple H is a racist. He's not showcasing a lot of black wrestlers on PLE. What do you say about that? Because me, Triple H, I don't think Triple H is a racist. Triple H is all about pushing talent. And he had pushed black wrestlers before. You've seen it on the NXT. So why all of a sudden everybody's targeting Triple H? Oh, he's not pushing a lot of the black wrestlers now.
To be honest, I haven't seen anything like that. So I can't really comment on that part. But what I do know is I don't believe that he's doing that, if that's the case. I've seen, if anything, I've seen a lot of more black wrestlers have come out of NXT. They're getting on they're having more matches with bigger audience, like tonight. Randy Orton is having a match with Javon Evans. And he's, 20 years old? Like, that's crazy. So I believe he's just looking out for his talent, and I believe that he's doing what's best for the business. And if you just so happen to be black and you're not doing what you need to do in the locker room, how is that Triple H's fault? Like, I don't get it. I haven't seen that. I don't think that's the case. But yeah, I just don't get it.
But it just narrow amount of fans that's on these social media groups on Facebook just saying stuff. I mean, you can look, it's a lot of ones right now. Okay, he's not saying because AJ Styles has not been featured on PLEs and he's white. So you can't say, well, he's not supporting blacks. It's everybody. And right now, and people really been studying, Triple H is mostly doing around more story based. He's going to back in the day. Because what Vince was doing, if Vince was just putting everybody out there, but Triple H like, no, I want to put the best out there. I don't want to just put out there because you look a certain way. Triple H is all about pushing the best wrestlers. those.
Pushing what people want to see. I mean, there are a lot of black wrestlers in WWE, but I think he's pushing what people want to see. Like, no lie, the Bloodline storyline is great. Like, it has not disappointed me in the 5 years. So that's a great storyline to keep pushing. Now that Drew McIntyre and CM Punk storyline is over with, what is going to replace that? See, you never know what's going to happen in wrestling. And that storyline can always come full circle because it's 2-1.
Right. And
You know what I'm saying?
right? Because you see what's going on now. Well, they kind of set it up this past week where Seth Rollins came back, him and CM Punk's went face to face. But we know that, we already know that's put on the back burner for right now.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's Seth Rollins and Big Bronson Reed. So that storyline going on. Yeah. Now you see the Miz and the R-Truth storyline going on. So we see storylines are constantly developing now. Now we see the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes storyline developing. So that's going to take Cody out of the bloodline for a little while because we know that's going to be,
that's Roman
Kevin Owens handling that. So we still going on and we see added elements now. Okay, the final boss, The Rock, came back. So now we say, okay, what's going to happen now? What everybody going to do? I got to tune in and Friday night on SmackDown. See what's going to happen. So like I said, that's why I get more into it. Like, man, we actually getting storylines back in pro wrestling now.
It's like reading a book. Oh, what's gonna be in chapter 9? Okay, I'm gonna read it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like reading a book. So I love that. Like, I think he's just I think he's giving us stories that we want to see, like the tag team titles. That's a story that I think everyone is waiting for. But I think the main thing is they're waiting for how they're gonna split up.
Yeah.
That's the storyline. Is Jay gonna turn on Bianca or vice versa? Or if they're gonna have like a mutual disagreement and then they just break up like that and then they come back around and wrestle each other. We don't know. But that's the element of creating something beautiful.
Right. And we know that Bianca's really working with Jade right now. And we know it takes time. They said that because she was at AEW and AEW, they basically in word they was saying in some way AEW messed her up with her training. So it's like, okay, you on the WWE side, we're not gonna push out because at AEW they were pushing her like a female Goldberg.
Yeah.
But Triple H, no, we're gonna slow it down. So we're gonna compare you with Bianca. So Bianca can show you the ropes. And when we see that you're fully ready and developed, then we know that split is gonna happen. So I'm kind of glad they're being patient with her.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
Work with her till she gets up the part to where she need to be at. That makes sense.
But it's gonna take time to get there, and that's the thing that a lot of people are not willing to do is wait. They want everything to come like fast food drive-through. It don't come that easy, especially in wrestling. Everything takes time, and you just have to wait your time. Like it took me 2 years to actually debut and have my first wrestling match. It took me 2 years to actually It took me a year to have my first referee for the first time. It's like a slow cooker. Put it in the oven, give it 17 hours. It's gonna be nice and tender when you pull it out. It's just time. That's all. A lot of people, like I said, are just impatient.
Yeah, and we in the generation now, everybody wants that instant gratification.
Instant, yeah. That's a great way to say it.
Yeah, everything does take time as well. So like I said, I know you still doing wrestling. So what's the video you got coming up next? And also, how can people come out and support you, what you're doing, and what city location would be at?
Let me get my phone. Hold on. So this weekend, I will be in Forney, Texas, TSW Wrestling. Hopefully I'll be winning the title. Fingers crossed. We'll see what happens. And that's this weekend, October 12th. On the 19th, I will be in Castroville, Texas, which is about 30 minutes outside of San Antonio. And then on the 20th, I will be at Biggs. Biggs is one of our live taping shows we do here at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. So if you want to see me defend this beautiful championship, I will be wrestling Layla Gray, which is big for me because she's a really big name. She has a really big personality. So if you guys want to see me defend my title against Layla Gray, please come out to Biggs Burger, UTSA, or follow Dog Pound Championship Wrestling on Instagram or Facebook. I will be there. One last date is let me see. November the 9th at BOW here in San Antonio, Texas as well. It will be at the Woodlawn Gym. So if you guys follow me on any of these things, it's Mystii with 2 I's .mark on all social media platforms.
Man, that's what's up. I appreciate you as well. Also, so they talk about. I know behind the scenes they tell you about responsibility. So they teach you about when it comes to finance. We know we had wrestlers back in the day who went broke. You see a lot of the older wrestlers getting GoFundMe accounts because of the surgeries and things like that. So they implement more of that now. Well, okay, make sure you take care of yourself financially. Make sure you're doing this right. Do they implement more of that behind the scenes as well? Especially with those who's coming up, they look at, oh man, I'm looking at making millions of dollars. I see Randy Orton making millions, and I see John Cena making millions, and The Rock them making millions. So do they say, okay, yeah, but we want y'all to be more responsible when it comes to your finances?
We have not had a finance talk. To be honest, right now in our careers, we're making enough money to make it to the next match.
Right.
In my opinion, we're just making enough to make it to the next match. Nowadays we have to have wrestling and a regular job, which is what I have. For me, I've always been really big on saving. My mom taught me that at a very young age. And if something ever happens with wrestling or with my regular job, I have a cushion to fall back on. So finance is not a thing that is talked about in wrestling, but it needs to be, because you're right. There are a lot of wrestlers that need surgery from years ago when they used to wrestle, that issues are now coming up now that they're getting older. But health insurance is big. I believe anybody that steps foot in the wrestling ring should have some kind of health insurance, because like I said, sprained ankle, concussion, those bills can add up. The next thing you know, you're in debt from medical bills. And then if that goes on your credit report, that's a whole different ball game. You can't do nothing without credit unless you have cash. Cash is king. But
Right.
you can't make cash if you're not healthy, if you can't step back in the wrestling ring. So I think everyone should have some kind of health care.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000%. I always gotta be a step ahead of everybody else. And that's how I know fitness, nutrition plays a role in wrestling. And I know as you are a wrestler, so so you have a strict diet. Well, I won't say diet, but do you have a strict nutrition that you stick with every day?
I wouldn't say it's strict, but I don't eat pork or beef, so that's kind of challenging for me. But I still eat chicken and turkey. Right now I'm on a no carbs, no sugar, no alcohol type of diet. I'm trying to slim down. Hopefully I can be on TV within the next couple of weeks. Fingers crossed. So I'm just trying to get my body right and my mental. When you cut out all the sugar and stuff, it gives you a lot more clarity as well.
Okay.
So that's my diet that I'm currently on. Before that, baby, I was drinking wine every day. Okay, drinking wine every day. But I've been on this diet now for 3 weeks, and I can really see a difference in the way my body's changing. And I'm doing a couple extra workouts in the gym. So, yeah, I'm tired.
But we know it's all part of it. It's all part of it. And
I'm hungry.
and I know cardio. Cardio plays a huge role. I mean, cause Ric Flair talking about he goes 60 minutes in the ring, and we know that if you look at him, him and Ricky Steamboat, they cardio was up the part, and they would go at it for hours. Cardio does play a role, and we know that you doing all that hustling, somehow get real tired. So how do y'all keep y'all cardio up? Just keep it going, because like I said, we got fans. They pay that hard-earned money to come see us go on the show. And we don't want to go. We don't want them to be disappointed.
Right. So as far as cardio goes, you have to do it in and outside the ring. You have to. The hardest thing for me is the Stairmaster. Stairmaster is a great way for cardio. You're constantly moving. It elevates your heart rate, and it just gets you pumped up. My advice is to do 30 minutes, but I can't even do 30 minutes. So do 20 minutes. And then when you wrestle in the ring, whenever you go to training, you do blow up drills and you get your body mindset for a match you got coming up. That also helps you out too. So in and outside of the ring, it's a constant thing you do. It's not just, oh, I'm gonna do this and then I'll be good. No.
Right. make sure you keep your cardio up. And we have different matches. So, what matches that she want to do? If you have it in mind, what kind of match that you really want to do next? Cage match, street fight, hardcore. What match that you want to do next?
So there's 2 matches that I've already done. I've done a cage match, which was really fun. I loved it. And I've done a no DQ match. It was good. I'm not really big on what would you call them? Stipulation matches. But if I can do another match like that, it would have to be another cage match. I just really liked it.
Okay.
Like,
what about Hell in the Cell?
I could do a Hell in the Cell match. That could be arranged. I'm not scared of that. It's just the hardcore matches I don't like. Like, to me, I feel like it's unnecessary with the blood. Sometimes blood is not necessary. But I get it. Sometimes you have to draw blood to get the story across. I totally understand. I just don't want to bleed. Okay, I don't want to bleed.
Well, you know, Misty, it's this with the given match. Okay, Hell in the Cell, blood. Cage match, blood.
Yeah, I get it.
DQ, blood. I understand no match supposed to happen it because when Vince was doing it, and now they went PG, they got rid of the blood. They were doing the Hell in the Cell, but time. Yeah, but there was no blood implemented. But I'm glad blood came back in the Hell in the Cell because Drew McIntyre and CM Punk was bleeding in the match. Of course, even though Drew McIntyre did get a real injury, he had to get stapled on top of his head.
So did.
So I don't care what they say about wrestling, Miss. They say, "Oh man, wrestling fake." They get hurt for real. Yeah. They get hurt. I don't care what they say. Y'all get hurt. Y'all really do because injuries, like in any sport, whether you playing football, basketball, whatever, injuries gonna happen. That's the same way in pro wrestling. Injuries gonna happen. You don't go in there intent of hurting somebody, but it happens.
Accidents happen. Yeah.
And
I'm too cute to be bleeding all over the place, man. I'm too cute.
But if you do a cage match, you got to. That's just me.
Well, I didn't bleed in my match. But
if I get slammed in the cage, you know what? I said when I was a child, I said I always wanted to win the world title bloody up. I think that'd be so cool. You be all bloody and you get the 1, 2, 3, and you all blooded up and you be the world champion. I think that's cool.
To each his own.
That's an iconic moment.
I've never been a fan of that ever.
That's an iconic moment though.
I agree. I just never been a fan of it.
The females, they bleed now.
Yep, they sure do.
Especially Becky. Nia Jax hit you and gave Becky a concussion and broke her nose.
Oh, for real? I ain't know.
That was some years ago. That's when
I remember.
I'm just saying.
See, that was an accident. Accidents like they're unpreventable, man. Like they're just unpreventable. That was just a straight up accident.
What about Lucha Libre? Would you ever do Lucha Libre? Would you ever do like?
That's cardio.
No no Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio.
No.
Would you ever do the Three Amigos?
The what?
The Three Amigos with Eddie Guerrero. You never did it yet? Frog Splash.
I've had it done to me though. I've never done it though.
Frog Splash.
No.
And I want to do that Chris Benoit Swan dive, the flying head, but I want to do that though. That's.
I've done a swanton bomb before. I actually did it in training yesterday for the first time. Yo, that ain't that bad.
Did it hurt? It didn't hurt, did it?
Of course it hurt. What the hell?
Because you land a certain way, I bet it did.
You do land a certain way, but I know how to land to protect myself.
Oh, that's smart.
I'm gonna put you back on the floor.
What about a Stone Cold Stunner?
Say hi.
Hey. What about a Stone Cold Stunner? What do you take? What about a Stone Cold Stunner?
Have I taken a stunner before? I've taken a cutter. I've never taken a stunner before. I've taken a cutter.
Okay. Hang on. Okay. Who has the best cutter? Randy Orton or Dominic Page?
First of all, you know I'm biased. I'm biased.
Okay, out of nowhere.
I'm gonna say Randy Orton. I am very biased, Randy. What?
Okay. We'll play a little word. Who is the greatest professional wrestler of all time? Who would you consider? Okay, who would you consider the GOAT the goats of professional wrestling in your honest
Like
opinion?
my what is it called? My
Mount Rushmore.
yeah, Mount Rushmore. Somebody asked me that, and that was a very hard question to answer because there are so many greats. But for me, I would have to say Randy Orton, Stone Cold, oh, Bret the Hitman Hart,
Okay.
and Ric Flair.
Ain't no Rick. Wait, hey, what you talk about Rick Flair when he did his last match in the 70s? That match was pretty bad. I watched it. It's like,
I honestly I don't recall watching it, but I know I did. I just don't. It wasn't memorable. That's all I'm gonna say. It was not memorable. Not to
yeah,
me.
because Rick in his 70s and he wanted to do a one last match. And do you know he wanted to do a Ricky Steamboat? Ricky Steamboat said, no, I'm not doing that. But Jeff Jarrett went in and did it. But you know, the tag team, because Rick, you're in your 70s, you can't go one on one no more in the ring. But they had to do a tag match though. But it's like you said, he loved the business so much. It's like,
It's hard to walk away. It's
especially
hard
you've been
to give
doing
up
it for
the
years,
goods.
household name,
Say it again.
being a household name, everybody know who you are. And
Hmm.
not only that, hip hop love wrestling. We see that now.
But we saw it back then. It just wasn't on a bigger platform as it is now. Rappers always love wrestling. If you listen to certain lyrics, they reference The Rock, Stone Cold, Booker T, like they Bret Hart,
Yeah.
Ric Flair, the Woo, like they reference that in their raps now. So it's not like it's just on a bigger platform now. That's it. It's being showcased more.
Yeah, because you know, Rick Flair, no ring, no Rolex wearing, no diamond ring, nice clothes, the suits, the money, the women. The rappers idolize that. And they love Rick for that, and that's what they even
Mhm.
Snoop said that because they said Rick was like part of the black community because he had the swag, he was charismatic,
Mhm.
cocky, you know what I'm saying, full of himself, but he was the man. And like I said, a lot of rappers relate to him. We see WWE even more of hip hop now
Right.
because Megan Thee Stallion just did the theme song for SmackDown on Friday
Yep.
night.
Sexy Red has done 2 guest appearances. Yep.
Who else? Metro Boomin. He did a sound. He did a theme
Hmm.
song for Bad Blood. So we see the more. Like I said, rappers always been a fan of pro wrestling.
Yep. Wale did multiple rap battles as far as the judge goes. Yeah.
So it plays a role. It really does. So I know we about to get off the air, of course. So Misty, you have, and I do apologize for missing your name. Well, she did, of course, she did
Hmm.
call me on that. Hey, players mess up too. I made a mistake.
I understand, but you're
All
not
right.
the only one. I don't know why people always get that.
But you know, when you use the androids, you gotta be very careful because the android will actually change it, and you don't even think about it because we going so fast with it.
Hmm.
But you gotta be careful. Like I mean, I'm an Android guy. I love the Android, but it will, if you're not careful, it'll change it, and don't even realize you have to go and make sure you. Okay, this is what I wanted to say, not what you wanted to say, Android, but it happens. It
And
really does.
I'm a young girl, so I understand.
It really does. So we gotta get it off the air. So, Miss, do you have any final remarks, any words of wisdom, any sign of advice you want to leave here with the audience? We're live streaming right now, and we'll go back and listen to the replay.
I just want to say for anyone out there who wants to be a professional wrestler, take it seriously. It's not nothing to play around with. There are so many people in the world that will love the opportunity to wrestle. And if you have the opportunity to do so, do it. Follow your heart, follow your dreams. I did it. I'm not as successful as I want to be, but I'm working hard at it every single day. And to those out there who think wrestling is fake, take me up on the offer. Let me punch you and you tell me what it feels like.
She
On
want to
that
punch.
note, you can follow me on all social media platforms. That's Misty Mystii because you need 2 eyes to witness this greatness. Marks with an X, and that's on all social media platforms.
Man, I appreciate you, Miss. I really do. Hey, a German suplex. Hey, how y'all do a German suplex?
What do you mean?
I
How?
mean,
Ask me off
you
air. I got
you
you. Ask me off air. I got you.
No, because you gotta be careful when you do a German suplex.
You do.
Because you don't want to break, you don't want to drop nobody on their head. Now I've seen some people get dropped on their head. So when they do a release German suplex.
Mm-hmm.
Suplex City, Brock Lesnar.
I got you. I got you. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah, because you gotta be scared. Anyway, I appreciate you. About that. So Nancy, we gotta get ready to get off the air. I know we out of your element tonight. We're talking about wrestling. That's why Nancy was just chilling in the background, but we're talking about
He's like, I'm gonna just look cute on camera with my dog.
All right, so Nancy, go ahead and lead us out with the words of affirmation, as they say. We ready to get off this air.
Huh? What was affirmation? Keep pursuing your dreams, pushing hard, and keep going.
Well said.
And that's it. And that's it. Tomorrow night, we're gonna be talking about domestic violence tomorrow night. We know the month of October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we got two guests. Nancy's gonna be joining us tomorrow. We got Patricia. She survived domestic violence. Also, we got the guy who was a victim of domestic violence. And that's big for him to step out and talk about it, Mr. U here in Dallas, Texas. So make sure y'all tune in and watch tomorrow night. We talk about domestic violence. We know domestic violence has been going around for a long time. We know it's a sickness. It's something that nobody should have to live through, especially when you're with someone and they physically harming you and hurt your way. And that's bad. Nobody should have to go through that. Nobody should have to deal with that. But we know it happens. And we know as we're on the show right now, domestic violence is happening somewhere, whether it's in your neighborhood, in your city, it's happening right now. But we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. So make sure y'all tune in as we talk about domestic violence. But other than that, we're about to get you off this air because I don't want to get German suplex for messing my name up, and I don't want to get hit for messing somebody's name. I made a mistake on that. So we out this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Man, like I said, man, y'all have a great night.
Good night.
We'll see y'all. Me and Nancy will see y'all tomorrow night here on the Walking This Ways Impact Voice podcast. Miss, you have anything you want to share before we leave? Oh, she good. All right, then. We out this thing, man. Y'all have a great night. Peace, everybody.
Good night.